What's going on, everyone? This is Angel from WrestlingNews.co. I'm going to be doing news updates like this probably on most days. Maybe not every single day. Some days I'll do it consecutively, but I'll be doing this pretty often going forward. Just got a new setup, lighting setup, and all that too. Um, so let's get it going. By now everybody knows Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes is the match. It's official. It was announced last Thursday, right after the press conference. It was made official. I got to say one thing real quick about that. Kudos to WWE for making the change. By the way, for anybody that thinks that match was planned all along, I know there's some people on social media saying, well, that match was planned and this is all a plan by The Rock to get people to hate him and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I guarantee you this was not part of the original plan. The plan all along was Rock wanted the match. Rock signed with the company in early January is when he made the deal to become the board CEO, and he was pushing for this match. There was talk, there were suggestions made about doing this match in Saudi Arabia. Rock, look, those shows are big. They pay a lot of money. WWE, thought that maybe they can get more money out of Saudi Arabia. They did The Rock versus Roman. But let's be real here. Who's gonna watch? Look, there's some people watching it, but who wants to see this match happen in Saudi Arabia? At you know, the show would start at 12 p.m. So the match would probably be the main event, and it would happen sometime around 3:30 in the afternoon on a Friday or something like that, or a Saturday. That's for one of the biggest matches, maybe the biggest match in company history. You don't want that. You want that to be prime time, WrestleMania, biggest show of the year. So The Rock was right in not wanting that match in Saudi Arabia. The Rock did an interview with Entertainment Tonight that was filmed. I think it was filmed early last week, um, just to show you, more proof that that Rock versus Roman Reigns was the plan before fans uh, turned on him and the We On Cody's hashtag went viral on social media. The interview that was filmed early last week aired today, and they specifically mentioned tune in to WrestleMania to watch The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I don't know why they didn't change it, but it aired as whatever they did, however they taped it last week is how it aired today. So that just shows you that this was definitely not the plan as of uh, 7, 8, 9 days ago, whatever it was. I guess it was on the Raw where Seth Rollins was basically telling Cody, "Do you want to be like Hulk Hogan or do you want to be Dusty Rhodes?" That was pretty much when plans started to change. And at one point, it was going to be Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. They never got to that. And so now they're back to the winner of the Elimination Chamber is going to challenge Seth for the World Heavyweight title. And it also looks like they're teasing Rock and Roman against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. So it looks like you're going to see some people wrestling twice on that show. Another thing you should look for, um, this all the Rock and Roman alliance looks to be temporary. If you saw the family chart that was shown during the press conference, um, the Rock refers himself as the High Chief, and there were also little hints you can see that Rock basically overshadowed Roman. It came across like Roman was the little brother to the Rock. I don't think that was I think that was done on purpose. I think that's if you're looking for it, you can see the little teasers there. Also backstage, I don't know where this is going with Triple H because The Rock kind of bigfooted Triple H too, and I don't think Triple H is ever going to wrestle again. But maybe they'll have something where maybe he's their special ref or something like that. But anyways, also backstage at that after that press conference, you can see again Roman being overshadowed by The Rock. So perhaps maybe they do a thing where Roman turns on The Rock and you know they lose the match on night one. If the tag team match is the plan, like again, there's that WrestleMania trailer that came out on the day of the Super Bowl. where you got Seth and Cody standing face to face with Roman and The Rock. It looks like it could be a tag team match, but we don't know yet. Who knows? All right. Uh, CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin is a possibility. Sean Ross Sapp reported back, I think in December, that there were rumblings about Stone Cold maybe wrestling again, coming out of retirement, and there was a pitch made for that match. CM Punk has wanted that match for I think well over about 11 years or so, 11, 12 years. I think it was WWE 13. They did a sit down interview with Jim Ross as the moderator, and Stone Cold teased getting in the ring with Punk, but he didn't go so far to confirm that it was going to happen. And then he basically at the end basically said, "We're just talking about video games here." If you saw it at the time, you had the impression that Stone Cold maybe was itching to get back in the ring. So today on ESPN, he did an interview. Austin did an interview with ESPN, and he said, "I'll just give you the quote." He said, "I said I'd never get in the ring again unless all the stars aligned, and for some reason, somehow they all did. And at the age of 57, I headlined the first night of WrestleMania. I never thought I'd do that. If you'd have told me that when I retired in 2003, I'd had said, you're crazy. So I'm not going to sit here and say no to anything, because you never say never in this crazy business of sports entertainment." The writer that did the interview said, when asked whether he had an idea of what opponent he would want and what would likely be his final career match, Austin said that he did. But he did not want to mention the name because he was not promoting the match, nor did he want to add pressure on WWE or the foe to make it happen. Again, more from Austin. He was asked about CM Punk. "I like Punk. I think Punk likes me. So as long as he can take a Stone Cold Stunner," and he laughed when he said that, "I consider him a friend, a great guy, and a great wrestler who's had a great career. We'll see." He went on to say, "I love sports entertainment. I love the sports entertainment business more than anything I've ever done in my life, and you get a dose of it and you want more. And so there I am talking to you a couple years later about doing it again, and that's how addicting it is to me, just to talk about it. And I get excited and I'll start talking too fast. But it's not going to happen, but it could." Those were Austin's words on that. Look, Austin's in great shape. If you see on his social media, he still works out hard. He's still ripped. I mean, obviously, we're not going to see that match this year. You need more time to build it. Plus, you got The Rock and stuff. You don't want to overshadow it. But next year, WrestleMania 41, it's a possibility. Who knows? And it looks like Punk versus Austin could finally happen, and that could be Austin's final match, his retirement match. We'll see if it happens. Also, Brock Lesnar made some news today. In recent weeks, WWE's distanced themselves from him because of the sex trafficking lawsuit. He's not being sued, but the Wall Street Journal named him as the person, the former UFC champion that Vince McMahon was trying to re-sign. And as a Janelle Grant, the woman who was suing Vince McMahon and WWE, claims that Vince McMahon asked her or told her to have sex with Brock Lesnar because that was what was needed to get him to re-sign with the company. That was the thing that was going to convince him to sign with the company. Again, I don't know if Brock did anything illegal or whatever, but it doesn't look good for him to be involved in this. So while he's identified as the former UFC champion in the lawsuit, the Wall Street Journal confirmed with their sources that it is Brock Lesnar. Brock was going to be in the Royal Rumble. I think a lot of you guys know that already. He was replaced by Braun Breaker. Brock was going to wrestle Dominic Mysterio at the Elimination Chamber. He basically was going to run right through him. And then at WrestleMania 40, he was going to wrestle Gunther for the, I presume, for the Intercontinental Championship. That match was actually teased last year's Royal Rumble, but they didn't do it at WrestleMania. Um, Brock, it's possible that Brock could be on his way out of the company. He was removed from the 2K Supercard mobile game last week. He was also removed from the what was it, the WWE 2K24 40 years of WrestleMania edition cover. And then also last Friday on SmackDown, if you saw the intro, you may have noticed, that he was replaced. That signature open that kicks off the show, Brock was replaced by Braun Breaker. So, look, they've done that before when they did that with Ric Flair. That means Flair was done with the company when they replaced him, and I remember Flair being upset with that. Brock probably doesn't care, but it's there's a lot of signs that he may be done with the company. Like, look, it's wrestling; you never say never. But Ari Emanuel is not close to these people. He's not close to the people who McMahon has been associated with. So he'll clean house. Um, Also, another thing related to Brock, his daughter Maya Lesnar, she's a shot putter for Colorado State, and last year she broke the shot put record with a mark of 18.50 meters, and she earned the All Mountain West honors and previously came in first place in the weight throw while competing at the Indoor Mountain West Championships. I mentioned her because Brock was pictured with her today, so it's the first time we've seen Brock in a while in a public setting. This the first time we've seen him out there supporting his daughter. Brock, keeps his life pretty private. So, anyways, yeah, what's the deal with Brock? Again, there's a good chance that he could be gone. There's also a good chance that Miss McMahon, we'll see how this thing shakes out in court. But there's a good chance that he could be doing prison time. Remember, the feds raided his house. They took his cell phone last year. And Brandon Thurston tweeted that, quote, you can expect an answer to or extension to an answer by this coming Friday from the defendants in the Grant versus WWE and McMahon and John Laurinaitis lawsuit, which is basically this the 21-day deadline since their summons was issued. So the 21 days is almost up. So we're going to hear something from McMahon and Laurinaitis' attorney most likely by this Friday. Things are going to get worse. According to the attorney for Janelle Grant, Ann Callis says that there's more to come and that people have reached out to her. She's been doing the media rounds. I know she was on News Nation last week, and she talked about hearing from other alleged victims of McMahon. I know there's a former WWE diva who has not been named, who was an alleged victim of McMahon back in the mid 2000s. There had been rumblings of that. There were certain people that were pushed, that were inexperienced, and at the time I remember that was reported. Wrestling Observer newsletter I think reported it back in the day that there was always some head scratching over certain people who had very little experience and they were pushed near the top of their of the top of the division. The women, I'm talking about the women's roster, and now if you look back at that era, the Diva Search era and all of that, now it's kind of weird looking at that era now, because now you kind of wonder what was going on behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens with Vince. Again, maybe he comes out innocent in all of this. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe again, a settlement perhaps, but the attorney for Janelle Grant said that has been heavily hinting that they're looking for justice here. They're not looking for a settlement. I believe Janelle Grant has already been paid some of the NDA money that was agreed to, and those payments stopped last year. But she's probably pretty well off. So there's a very good chance here that this may go to court and other things will come out. In that case, we may finally hear from certain people that have been quiet because of for various reasons, whether they're afraid to speak out or NDAs or whatever. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see. Interesting to see what happens with John Laurinaitis, and if other people are named here. Either people that were together working with McMahon, doing these alleged acts, or helping to cover up stuff. Allegedly, a lot of people in the company knew what was going on and they didn't do anything about it. So we'll see. Bruce Pritchard said on his podcast that he knows nothing. He's not being accused of anything. And basically, he can't speak much about it because he still works for the company and the company is being sued. So it's not smart to say anything because you can risk your job. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Again, it will be interesting to see what comes out of this. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I'll have another news update probably tomorrow, or maybe by Friday. We'll see. We'll see what happens if some news breaks. I'll be on here talking about it. And thank you for your support. And check out WrestlingNews.co and also all our social media accounts: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. Same username at Wrestling News CO, all one word. Thank you guys for your support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, click on the subscribe button below. And thank you again for your support. Thanks.